Let's introduce test runners. In the last lesson, we talked about assertions and we introduced an assertion library, which is the default assert module from Node.js. Assertion libraries help us perform assertions on our test. A test runner is simply what it says it is. It runs our test. So for us to be able to structure our test in a very scalable way, and for us to be able to see the output of our test in a very clean way, we are going to use test runners. In this lesson, we are going to introduce a test runner called Mocha. To install Mocha, we are first of all going to init a new npm project. So we generate a package.json, then we are going to install Mocha, and we can save for development. Now that our test runner is done installing, we need a way to run test. In the package.json, we are going to create a new script called test, and this is going to run Mocha, and Mocha is the name of our test runner. Next, our test runner needs to know which files are our project files and which ones are test files. And to differentiate that, we are going to create a test folder. And we are going to move our test file into that test folder. And when we run the test command, Mocha is going to search for all files in the test folder and run them as test. So let's run Mocha npm test. And after running this, we can see the assertion error we still have. So Mocha went into the test folder, searched for all files that had the .spec extension and ran them. And as you can see, we have an error. Mocha gives us a lot more power. We can structure our test in a really beautiful way. I'll show you an example. First, we have a global describe function that comes with Mocha. And the describe function, the first argument we have is a title of our test. So we are going to give a title the add function because this is what we are testing. And the next argument is a function that actually contains our test. In here, we can have an it global function, and this function gives us a title for this specific test. So the describe encapsulates a whole test suite, and the it is for a specific test, because we can have a function that does a lot of things. So we can have different it statements for different tests for that same function. So it adds two numbers, and we're going to pass in a second function. Now we are going to say constant actual is the addition of 1 and 3, and the expected is 4. Then using our assertion library, we are going to say assert.equal actual and expected. And now we are going to run our test with Mocha npm test. Now our test fails, but look at the difference. First, whatever we had in our describe block is at the top of the file. Secondly, whatever we had in the it is right here, and it's numbered to show us that this is the first test. And we have a red coloring right there to show us that the test failed. So it tells us 0 tests passed and 1 test failed. This is the power of the test runner. It structures our test in a really beautiful way so that we can write more scalable tests. Now, if we want this test to pass, we need to go back to our add module and change this to a plus sign. Then run our test again with Mocha. And now we have a successful test. We have 1 passing, and it gives us the time it took to run that test, and it has a check mark on all of the tests that passed. With a test runner, we can easily run and write tests.